Hello, my name is Polkowska. I'm a photographer from Poland, now living in Gothenburg in Sweden. Today I would like to present to you my recent photo book, which is called Splinter, and which looks like this. The book was designed by a Polish photo book designer, Ania Nałęcka-Milach, and published by a Swedish publisher, Black Book Publications. Splinter is my first photo book. It presents my photographic documentation of a house in the outskirts of society, of the house in the outskirts of a village. A family that lived there created around themselves a world resembling a warehouse, a space packed with things, whether working or not. Whenever I was visiting them, some of these objects changed their position, at least it felt like this. Also, the family lived in this constant change when it came to people who were visiting the house. Sometimes it was difficult even to me to say who was a member of the family and who was just a random visitor, who was a stranger. It looked to me as if they refused to accept that only order is legitimate in today's world, although they probably did it totally unconsciously. During the time I was visiting them, it occurred to me also that maybe this continuous change gave meaning to this reality. It was a bit like a perpetual motion machine constantly winding itself up. Pictures documenting the house were taken in a year. What's changed while I was working on the project, what changed for me, was not only the place itself. The place that was, as I said before, in a state of constant transformation. What also changed with time, especially for me, were the feelings that accompanied the process of documenting this word. And especially today, I'm aware that it might have been just a subjective feeling, but at the beginning of photographing the family and the house, I had a bit idealistic approach, idealistic aim to this project. Idealistic, of course, from today's perspective, after I finished the project, after I published the book. But at the beginning, I just wanted to show that anyone could live however they wanted, even in a very disorganized space. I still believed in this, but with time, this belief started to be accompanied by some anxiety that this visual and material chaos would end up at some point with something bad, that it could lead to a kind of catastrophe, which actually in a way did happen there. One day when I came there, it turned out that a car which was owned by the family crashed. Next time when I was there, 2 animals died all of a sudden, and next time the woman who lived there left the man and the house. Today this word doesn't exist anymore, so this book is also my tribute to it, my tribute to the people who used to live there. Because of what happened, because of what was happening during the time when I was visiting the family, I felt some anxiety, also because of this chaotic world around. But this word also fascinated me a lot, and I also got attached to the people. I was always super nicely welcomed there, and I really liked it, especially as a photographer who came there from the outside world. But maybe because of that, maybe because I got so attached to the people, it took me some time to start working on the book. At the same time, especially today, I don't feel it's a pure or classical, let's say, documentary. I know it's very subjective, so I would call it more like my personal vision of the place that fascinated me so much. And I hope that the photographs in the book capture the visual richness of this word on the periphery, the word which was driven by disorder. I was fascinated by the non-obvious beauty of the documented space, and this fascination came along with the subconscious anxiety of the more general nature, anxiety that in today's world such a catastrophe can happen everywhere, not only in forgotten places or among people who have been pushed beyond the boundaries of society. It was a very important project to me, not only because it was a long-term project with a lot of personal attachment, which of course meant a lot to me, but it was also important for me as a photographer, as an artist in the making, as I would say it now. While working on the project, I developed my visual language based on strong colors and close-ups, focused on telling a story through small extracts from a specific environment. I'm not interested in the background. I like to focus on a body part, on a small object. In that sense, my work emerges from closeness, maybe because I like to approach objects or people from a very close proximity. And this approach is followed visually, of course, by confined frames and objects separated from the background. I always use flash, and it's very important for me. And maybe it makes frames even more distinct. I mean, objects and just part of objects or people even more distinct. I'm very focused on this, and they are the most important part of images I take. I think I chose this style or this approach or this visual language, however we call it. I chose it because I like to look closely and with attention, both at people and objects. At the same time, of course, I am aware of my distracting presence, especially that I use flash. It's impossible to hide, it's impossible to pretend that I don't photograph. But this distracting presence relates a lot also to the way I perceive photography in general. I think photography has the capability of taking viewers out of their comfort zones, or to focus their attention on something they didn't see or they didn't want to see. For me, photography is a tool to direct viewers' gaze to places or topics that escape conscious attention. And maybe it's easier to find those places or people when you look closer. As I said in the beginning, Splinter is my first photo book, and I'm really happy that I had the opportunity to work on it with Ania Nowinska-Milev, who is a very experienced and great photo book designer, who understands photography and how it works in the frame of a book. With this book, this particular book, I will show it again. With this book, we wanted to focus more on the materials aspect of the world which is shown in the project. It was a very intense place, very intense to all senses. So in this book, we wanted to create a tactile feeling, so that the viewer could experience the material diversity of the of the place I photographed. In general, I feel that the form of a book can add something to the project in this sense, in this material aspect, material sense, contrary to, for example, an exhibition, which is more of a visual experience. At the same time, the form of this particular book, of my book Splinter, is consistent, as I believe, as I hope, with my attempt to show life on the fringes of society. It has a very delicate, but at the same time visible, dynamic arrangement, and it follows the sense of anxiety that I felt in this chaotic and visually rich world presented in the book. We wanted to show the ever-growing movement leading to a disaster that seems unavoidable, that was unavoidable in the place that I photographed. But I also wanted to show this more general feeling that this ever-growing movement that could lead to a catastrophe in general. A photo book is like an intimate space, and I hope that my book will help viewers to get closer to the story I photographed, get closer to objects and people that are depicted in my photographs. I hope you will enjoy it too. Thank you.